Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these charts then on Sunday as we approach the Monday morning, which obviously is going to be different because we've got the Nasdaq not closing at a new all-time high. We had a tiny bit of a pullback on the S&P as well, so we're not really sure how markets are going to behave, but it's been pretty good, I suppose, this weekend. We've had some major trades, and the buy the dip yesterday worked out a real treat. The best one obviously being Zcash. Like I say, I've been trying to highlight this casually over the last couple of videos, and obviously on the Telegram I was talking about it, and we've basically pushed right up to hit that 200 exponential, the death cross retest. Now it might not be over from here, but this was over from my trade. As you know, I'm playing it very safe in this market right now, and from the entry point, which is basically 21, which I said on the Telegram, it basically had a nice little run of a 25% move, almost 26% move over a few days. That's decent. So this is I suppose these are the opportunities that I feel more comfortable taking. In and out 25%. That's good for me. Now the other scenario that we were talking about is the XRP. We were talking about this on the Patreon, and people asking me questions yesterday on Telegram about it. And so yeah, the dip was bought by myself on the golden cross retest of the 4-hourly, and so far has been, well, we'll call it pretty lame. It's not been amazing, 2.5%. We'll be looking for this one to do a V-shaped recovery, to be fair, which would take us up to 58, and then from 58 we really want to see if we can hold above there, because if we do, it takes us to 60, and then once 60 is broken, it's 70, then 80, then 90. But I'm absolutely 100% not saying that that's what's going to happen. It's just a trade to be made. But one thing I will tell you though on XRP is this. So you know the phrase, when in doubt, zoom out, right? So we'll just clear the board, get rid of the indicators. So this portion of the uptrend on the weekly since all the way back 2023, so not, feels like a bloody lifetime ago. That's when the bottom was formed. Same time that Bitcoin's bottom was formed, basically, after the FTX kind of scenario. Since then, this weekly has been in a slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. As far as support is concerned, for the most part, higher highs have been formed until the SEC scenario took place and sort of broke the chart, really, and gave us that 90-cent exit point. So we got all that because that was all, we weren't expecting the SEC scenario to be the catalyst to take us to 90 cent, but 90 cent was always on the cards for this particular portion of the trend. It just seemed to happen overnight. But because of that, we've been consolidating ever since, but still maintaining the higher lows. And so let's just think about what it is that we're looking at here. So the first time, obviously, it's not really worthy of measuring, but we'll do it anyways. The first time the support was real, 28% move. Second time we kind of closed back above it, up to the wick, 62%. And then obviously we hadn't touched it until we had this mega wick crash right down into it. And then from that wick to this wick, 76%. Now, not this week, not last week, but the week prior, we've basically hit it once again. So normally you would expect this to be a really significant, sturdy, and then again, this is just based over the last year's worth of price action. Relatively sturdy, and the last move, the smallest move that we ever got from this trend line was 28% the first time round. The other times have been pretty big. And so if we think about what this move could be from there to here, we're talking, the smallest area would be about 23%. Realistically, we should be looking at these candle body highs around 35%, which would take XRP to 66 cents. That seems a bit more realistic to see the next high get developed on this chart based on this portion of the price action as far as this trend and whatnot is concerned. So we just put everything back in again. We can also see that it's not just the trend line. We've also been closing above a 200 exponential moving average on a weekly after a golden cross, which doesn't often happen on charts because crypto is really not old enough generally for the most part to have such large moving averages on weeklies. This is why we like XRP. It's an ancient coin. There was hieroglyphics in Egyptian tombs talking about XRP because it's that old. That's not true, obviously. Just some people, you just have to clear these things up. It was not true. That did not happen. There is no correlation with XRP and Egyptian hieroglyphics. Right, so if this is the case, we've got moving averages here, and where did we hit this week? The 20 moving average. So Bollinger Band strategy says you're more likely to stay within this portion of the band to the tune of 65%. Once broken above there, the opposite is true. So really what we're looking for is a decent push and a weekly close above 50, we'll call it 58 cents. That 58 cents is obviously the weekly 200, sorry, the weekly 20. But also getting above there would be above all moving averages on the daily, which would be excellent as well. So at this portion of the market, we're seeing lots of this kind of behavior on the 4 hourlies. Most of the charts, a lot of other charts look better than this because they haven't effectively pumped significantly like XRP did. XRP pumped way before all the other charts and has been consolidating while the other charts have then started to pump afterwards. So that has allowed for XRP to have a death cross on the daily, but now just receiving a golden cross on the 4 hourly. So this isn't like a big problem or anything like that. We've got the weekly on our side suggesting that a major low is already in, which is that trend line, and also the 200 exponential on the weekly. So the low could quite easily be in based on that portion of the analysis. The daily is trying to recover, so the daily is sort of a bit of a grey area at the moment. The 4 hourly is suggesting a bullish trend has formed, and not just formed but been confirmed by the retest. That's not written. It's not a guarantee. It's absolutely no guarantee. But just to cast your mind back to the last time that this happened on Bitcoin, was when we had broken down after the ETF. We started to build a base above the 200 exponential. We were umming and ahhing ourselves. We were like, that's interesting, because normally what happens when you get a golden cross like this, you come down for a retest and then you have a V-shaped recovery, which at the time would have been anywhere above 43,500. And then what happened? We basically ended up rallying all the way up to the major resistance where we're still fighting at the moment. So interesting stuff, really, because if we take charts on face value, which is I suppose what we're supposed to do, you'd look at this and go, well, we've had the golden cross and we've had the retest, and so really what we're looking for is at least the V-shaped recovery, taking us to 58, which again is the 20 weekly moving average. It's also the most recent local high. So let's have a think about the momentum that's been brewing here. Bit early to call any momentum out on this 4 hourly. If we're going to start pumping on this one, it'll either take a closure of the 4 hourly above 56, which would give us a bit more range to make our way back up to 58, just based on short-term time frame Bollinger Band strategies. Or we'll see a MACD cross, which at this stage now, we're above the 0 point, which is good, but there's not a great deal of divergence taking place here. So we would need to see a bit more of that before we get excited about sort of big bull moves. So the 4 hourly is not too helpful for us. Let's have a look at the 12 hourly. The 12 hourly is bullish with momentums. Actually, the 12 hourly's got it going for us, and we'll be looking for a pump signal to be generated with closures above 57. That should easily take us to 58 and probably a little bit more. We've got all components of the Itchy Cloud ready for that pump signal, apart from the Chiku span, which is obviously lagging behind and needs to close above 57. So that would be good for a pump signal, and that pump signal I would imagine take us at least to 58 and probably to 60, to be fair. So that looks good, although it's not yet confirmed. Back to the boring old daily. We just got to fight and close dailies above 50, we'll call it 57, which at that point would be candle body closures above all moving averages. So the problem XRP's got, and again, the momentum's good on the daily, but the problem XRP's got is that there's a lot of resistance in a small area, and that's why it's looking so lame compared to other coins that we've been traded. I suppose Zcash being the more recent one that's been a decent trade. So, it's easy to try and compare your setups and trades and go, oh, well, XRP's so boring, it's always around 55 cents, man, I don't want to buy it because it never moves, a stable coin, man. There's a reason it's a stable coin at this price, because, to be fair, the sell walls, including my own, really, because I did an XRP trade at the beginning of the week and it was pretty sweet and hit all these targets, which was where my sells were. So I contributed to those sell walls. I contributed to it pulling back. So I'm sorry about that, but that's trading for you, okay? That's how it's got. That's how you trade. You sell at resistance. But I tell you, once these areas have been broken, and I would be looking at closures above 58 cents, obviously, given the weekly, and then once you start to close above 60, rather than having increments of like 1 cent resistance each time, which is what it's been at the moment, and again that is the way to trade it in this portion of the price action. That's how it has to be done, because you can see that the resistances are real and that they are being respected. Once all those resistances in this little tiny tight area have been broken, and then the last hurdle at 60 cents is broken, rather than 1 cent strides before the next resistance, we'll be talking 10-cent strides. That's where some really big gains are going to take place. Is that going to happen before any kind of pullback in the market? I could not say. I really don't know. So we'll be looking at 71 cents. Obviously, we've got the roughly around the 81, 82 cents. These are all the next major resistances. Whoa. And that's where we'll be looking for the targets for XRP once the 60 cents is broken. So at the moment, it's kind of measly, pathetic. But once it gets going, boosh, boosh, boosh. And then once this area is broken, obviously we'll be talking 90 to $1 and more. Why is there $1 highlighted over here? HyperTrader is being particularly weird. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, so looking at XRP, there is enough evidence to say that in the higher term time frames we've got a significant low in. The shorter term time frames, we've just got to smash through these sell walls. And the medium term, once you're above 60, we can really start to get excited. And based around the momentum, on the daily at least, I think there's a good chance we start to see that. So yes, it's true. I bought the 4-hourly Golden Cross dip, as we were talking about that on the Patreon. That's been done. It really is a matter of holding this area, because if you lose 54 cents, if we lose it, there might be a bit of a pit stop around 53. And that is also a Golden Cross in its own right on simple moving averages. But yeah, it might be an invalidated trade. And at that point, we would target all the way down to this ascending support, which again has been respected all the way since back down in January 2023. So it's good. It's not great. It's good, but we're not broken out yet. If we break out, epic trade. I could imagine this doubling in price. I could see that happening quite fast. But for the moment, it will be a battle, and it will test your patience, and it won't be the quick and easy money like what we got on Zcash and then Monero the other week. And we've been making quick, easy cash on some of these trades. Been pretty sweet. XRP still pending for one of those big mega moves. Videos on XRP do upset a lot of people. They all, in fact, it doesn't matter what I say. People get upset on the comments. We're talking about anything. Oh, you're wrong. Buy AI coins, man. Because everyone on the comments are always perfect traders, you see. No skin in the game, I imagine. Or if they do, it's pocket change. But one of the best things about XRP is that it usually does respond pretty well to setups. And there is a clear setup here, but it is on a higher term time frame. So understanding that, that hopefully will allow for your patience to be a little bit more settled. But remember, the invalidation is at 53, and even if that gets lost, the next major support is basically 50. So there's still opportunity for dip buys, even if the Golden Cross fails. Obviously, I don't need to say it, but I'll say it anyway. If Bitcoin decides to give up the game alongside Nasdaq and S&P and everybody else, then I can't imagine that XRP is able to hold the fort on its own. Stranger things have happened, but you've got to look at the market as a whole as well. So if you're just trying to trade an altcoin based on its own chart, and you're perfectly blind to all the other markets that work counter to it, then yeah, it's going to be difficult for you to make that trade appropriately. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.